Welcome into the Analyst in the Armchair, an NFL podcast where one host is obsessed with stats and spreadsheets, and the other just really loves yelling at the TV on game day and has plenty of opinions. Together, Michelle and Nycole dive into player news, weekly matchups, and all the storylines you'll be talking about with your friends. Whether you're a hardcore or casual football fan, they've got something for you.
Welcome into the Analyst and the Armchair. I'm Michelle. I'm the Analyst. This is Nycole. She's the Armchair. We are back after taking a week off.
Yeah, somebody had to go on vacation.
Well, you also took vacation.
Well, I was in a wedding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that vacation.
Well, we both went away.
We went away.
Yeah.
That's right.
I got to see my family. It was fantastic. You got to be in a wedding. It was
I got
fantastic.
to see my friends. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Fun time off, but we're back.
Here we are.
And we're continuing our little series where we do positional groups with players that are going to get worse, better, and stay the same from the year prior.
Mm-hmm.
We've already done quarterbacks and wide receivers. We're going to hit running backs today.
Mm-hmm.
But we have so much news to get to. It was like it hit June 1st and everything went crazy in the NFL.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett gets traded. AJ Brown gets traded. We have some big extensions. So we're going to get to all of that right now.
The opening drive.
We got a monster blockbuster trade happen earlier this week, which we were all expecting the AJ Brown trade. So that wasn't crazy, but I really didn't think Myles Garrett was going to get traded. Yeah. I think it's smart by the Browns to trade him. I just didn't think they're going to do it.
Totally.
But they go ahead and trade him to the Rams. They get an offer that they felt like was one that they could not
refuse.
Yeah, they could not refuse. And I think that's very smart of the Browns because, listen, you're not going to contend. You're not going to contend. Myles Garrett's only getting older. You don't have a quarterback. Your goal is to figure out a way to get a quarterback for the future, and you do that by trading really good players. And they got Jared Verse out of it, too, from the Rams, which is a good young edge defender that won Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. So good for them. But let's focus on the Rams side here.
Man.
I mean, they were already favorites to win the Super Bowl before the Myles Garrett trade.
Yeah.
Now they are plus 550. According to FanDuel, to win the Super Bowl this year. The next closest is the Seahawks at plus 1,000. So they are monster favorites.
Wait, plus 550, 5,500?
No, just 550.
And then who is the next one?
Seattle at plus 1,000.
Oh, 1,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's almost double.
Yeah. Oh, and the Bills are also at plus 1,000. They're tied with the Seahawks.
Okay.
But so they're saying they have double the chance of winning a Super Bowl than any other team this year.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Don't bet that because to win a Super Bowl, you need everything to go right.
Well,
like last year, Micah Parsons gets traded to the Packers. All exciting, right? Now, the Packers did not have as good of a team as the Rams do, but then Parsons gets hurt. Garrett could always get hurt. Matthew Stafford could get hurt. I would never bet money on the favorite to win the Super Bowl, especially at these odds. 550 is just not enough for anything to bet like a year ahead of time. But like, how certain are you now that the Rams will win the division?
Easy
Win the division,
but yes,
over the Seahawks, the Super Bowl winners, and the 49ers.
Yeah, 100%. They were already so solid of a team. They only made good choices in this offseason, and then they got probably the most exciting.
Well, you say only make good choices. They spent their only first-round pick on Tyson. Well, they traded the other one for Trent McDuffie. Fine. Good pick or good trade. Mm-hmm. But then they spent their earlier first round pick on a quarterback, Ty Simpson. So that doesn't help them this year. Well, unless Stafford goes down and Simpson can be the hero.
Yeah, but I guess to my point, like they're already good.
Yeah.
Like they're not a team that was going into the offseason where we were like, look, you could do this, you could do this, you have all these options to do. Not the worst move from them grabbing a quarterback now because theirs is solid and they weren't in a place of like, I need this, that, or the other position.
Yeah. And the NFC still overall outside of their division isn't like extremely strong. So outside of the Rams and I said the Seahawks at plus 1,000, the next highest odds to win the Super Bowl among an NFC team is the Lions at plus 1,700. So they're saying it's not a lot of competition there.
Listen, you're the one that told me about them getting Myles Garrett. And I said, whoop, well, there goes that. There goes your division.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, Myles Garrett to add to this defense that's young and really good. They did have to trade away Jared Verse, but they still have so many good young players still on that defensive line that, I mean, it was just a fantastic move. I wish the 49ers would have done it, but they're not as bold. Sean McVay, since he's gotten there with the Rams, has been making crazy moves. He's not scared to give up draft picks or anything.
Well, and if you're Myles Garrett, I mean, no offense.
Oh my gosh, you have to be so happy.
But you have to be stoked.
And then if you're Jared Verse, you have to be like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've lived in it's not even about, well, it is about the teams, right? And you're going from one of the worst teams in the league to the best team in the league, possibly. Mm-hmm. And then also you're moving from Cleveland to LA or LA to Cleveland. And I love the city of Cleveland. I've lived there. I absolutely love it. Like it's one of my favorite cities in the country. I love it, but it's not LA. I mean, LA is awesome. It has perfect weather. Everything's great. It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, now there's all these rumors about maybe Aaron Donald returns from retirement and he's not shutting them down, which I'm surprised by. I want to know your thoughts before I give my thoughts.
He's been gone, 2 years?
2 full seasons.
I think that's a long shot. Mm-hmm. I really, really do.
I have no idea what his build is right now. I haven't seen him recently, but
same. Yeah. So listen, you won your title, bro. Stay home and hang out on the couch with your family or whatever you're doing these days. Don't play around with that, dude.
People say even after your injury and getting back up to playing shape is so hard. So even if I'm sure he's been working out, I'm sure he's in shape. But playing shape is very, very different. And being 2 full seasons off, I know Gronk came back. I think he only missed 1 season though, but that is different. He got to be a situational tight end. You just go run a couple.
He also
routes.
couldn't decide what he was doing with his life. Let's be honest. That was a totally he was like, I think I'm done. No, I'm not. So to me,
and
Aaron
I also
Donald,
think tight
stay
ends,
at home.
I think a receiving tight end, which was what he was mostly used as, is very different than being on
a lineman. Yes.
A nose tackle at that or a defense tackle at that. So they still have young guys. Just lean on them. And I also think they would have to pay Donald too much at 35 years old to come back because, like you said, what's the incentive? He's already won a Super Bowl.
That's my thing.
On good teams.
Why go put yourself in harm's way? For what?
It'd be one thing if he always played for the Rams and they were garbage his whole career, and now they're looking so good, so he comes back to win that Super Bowl and have that story.
Totally.
They were already really good most of the time.
And he already won one with them. So, yeah.
Just stay at home, Aaron Donald. We don't
play games or whatever you do.
Yeah, I don't know. But next big trade, which we've already known this is going to happen forever, which is elite. The things they say are illegal in the NFL. They can't be having these discussions, but we all already knew it was happening, and it happened that day. Pretty soon after, it was 4 p.m. Eastern time where he was allowed to be traded after the June 1st deadline, and it was done with an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You did not just call them up and get that done. Anyways, AJ Brown to the Patriots. I think it's huge for the team.
Yes.
They didn't have a true wide receiver 1.
Yes.
Probably Mike Vrabel's happy that they're talking about anything else than his scandal.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
And then Drake May now, though. Is he a true MVP candidate? Because already last year, he was in those conversations.
I think it's going to make or break Drake May being in that conversation. Because now you have a wide receiver like AJ Brown to throw the ball to. If you can't get it done, what does that say about you as the quarterback of this team?
And I mean, their skill sets fit really well together. Mm-hmm. Drake May last year, at least. I mean, it's the only year we got to really see him. One of the best deep passers in the league, if not the best deep passer in the league. AJ Brown, very, very good down the field. So I'm excited to see this do it.
I think it'll be good for AJ Brown. Leave how you left Philadelphia there. Great, good riddance, whatever.
I still think AJ Brown's an elite wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about the drama in which he left. But yeah, go start a new chapter over in New England, and let's keep it moving.
And he's back with Mike Vrabel. All things good. So I don't want the Patriots to be this dominant force again, but it's looking like they're building up real fast since losing Tom Brady.
Seems to be a theme in certain for certain teams that in different sports.
The Spurs, is that what you're saying?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Well, the Steelers, it's certainly not. So they don't know how to rebuild.
Well, I definitely wasn't talking about them.
Yeah. 2 wide receivers get paid this week. Drake London gets a 4-year, $141 million contract, third highest paid wide receiver in the league, behind only Jamar Chase and Jackson Smith-Njigba. It does seem like kind of an overpay because his production's not up to par with those guys, but this is what happens when he's still a top 10, top 15 wide receiver in the league. He's going to get that pay.
Right.
And he just hasn't been with good quarterbacks like at all. And then Bijan Robinson's due to get paid too. So he's going to be the top paid running back for sure. For certain. I was going to say that I put
I was
sure
like,
and
for
certain
sure,
together.
for certain.
Yeah. But who's going to be the Falcons quarterback of the future? They still have to decide that. So.
I mean, I guess we're going to figure it out this season with.
I don't think they are.
You don't?
I don't think Michael Penix Jr. or Tua is the answer at quarterback for them.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like one of them could surprise us this year. I mean,
anything could happen.
Could. Well, that's the whole point of talking about it.
But like, what's the probability of it?
Oh, I don't know. Who cares? It's just like,
oh my God, you're so my father.
Oh,
Yeah.
why would you do that? No shade to Pat, but we're a little different.
Probability does matter. Like, what are the chances? What are the likelihood of one of those two hitting and being the future of the Falcons? I think very low. So I still think the most likely situation is we're sitting here next year and hopefully they figured out a way to find the quarterback of the future, or at least another option to hopefully be the quarterback of the future.
Sure. I just think like it could still be one of them. I don't know why like you jump from we paid Drake London to, but we still got to find a quarterback. Like, sure. But
because Michael Penix
you're always looking for someone.
Quarterback's the only thing that really matters.
That's a whole debate.
Well, Myles Garrett, the best defender in the league, had one of the worst teams ever for a very long time because they didn't have a quarterback. TJ Watt hasn't won a playoff game. He's been in the league for a decade because he hasn't played. Well, he got to play with Ben in some good years, but now he hasn't had a quarterback.
And they keep signing these people over and over.
Max Crosby, his team is garbage.
Christian Watson also gets a 4-year, $110.5 million extension.
This one's crazy to me because, I mean, I know they need him.
Yeah.
They need him. They let their other wide receivers go. Christian Watson has to be the guy, and I think he will take a step forward, but he has never had more than 620 yards in a season in his career. He's now been in the league 4 years, and they gave him $27.7 million a year. That's putting him right around T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, Jameson Williams, more than Devonta Smith, Devontae Adams. Like, it's putting a lot of trust in this man.
That's a lot of money. I would say he's probably closer to like the 20 million range, if anything. But him being over Devonta and Devonta Smith, I was like, weird. Funny. And T. Higgins, I mean, like, if you said like a rapid fire, like you're picking, one or the other, and you say T. Higgins, Christian Watson, it's not even a question. You're going T. Higgins, right? Any of those names, you're probably, depending on Jalen Waddle and what he's waddling off the field with this time for injuries. But, this seems wild to me. But I guess they felt like they had the money and they wanted to secure him, I guess. And I don't know.
If he really breaks out and puts up 1,400 yards this year, then they did save themselves money because he would get more than that. But, I mean, he's had trouble staying healthy. And I don't think any other team was going to be dying to go pay him next year in free agency if he doesn't fully break out. So this is a risk, but we'll see if it works out for them. Mm-hmm. And then Nick Herbig, another risk pay here, but doing it early to try to save some money. The Steelers give their young edge rusher 4-year, $100 million extension. And it seems like it could be a crazy, I know a lot of casual watchers of the NFL are probably like, who in the world's Nick Herbig? Mm-hmm. I really like him. As a Steelers fan, I think he's better than Alex Highsmith. I think he's really, really good. He's had the 11th highest quarterback pressure rate among edge rushers over the last 2 seasons. He has the second most forced fumbles in the NFL over the last 2 years, behind only his teammate, TJ Watt. Yeah. But personally, as a Steelers fan, I wish they would have traded TJ Watt like the Browns did.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is there still time? Can they still technically do that?
They
If somebody
could,
else
but Watt's been slowing down, and Garrett hasn't.
Whereas he was
Yeah.
just the number one sack guy.
Yeah.
So they sold him at the right time, I guess is the better way to say that. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think to your trope though, always of like, we're paying edge rushers too much.
Yeah.
What do you think about this number?
I'm fine with this number. It's tied for 16th highest among edge rushers. The guarantees aren't super high. It's like 44 million. So the worst case scenario, he just sucks and you wasted $10 million a year in your cap space. Like, it's not that big a deal.
No big deal.
Well, in terms of ownership money.
Sure. Just sounds funny.
I know. But I do think with the signing, though, they need to trade Highsmith or Watt. And I just think with having Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to trade away TJ Watt. So go get rid of Alex Highsmith.
Yeah.
Because you don't pay a guy this amount of money to not start, to not play a lot. And he has been behind Highsmith for way too long now.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. That is it for the news. There was a lot there. We're going to now get into our running backs, guys that are going to get better, worse, and the same. We have some fun answers for you. Hers are crazy. Let's get into it.
Between the 20s.
All right, you said mine are lame answers and obvious answers. So let's hear your super smart answer for one. Well, we're going to give 2 running backs each that will improve from 2025. But who's your first guy?
What a weird way to come at me just then. My first one is kind of a homer pick, but I also think it's correct.
Okay.
David Montgomery.
Okay.
Went to the Texans in the offseason. He's obviously going to be our number 1 running back because we didn't have any. Woody Marks, he tried. He tried
so
really hard. Nick Chubb, he was there. And they both are still there.
Is Nick Chubb still there? No, he's gone.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I meant they're just like around.
Nick Chubb is available if they wanted him.
If they needed him. But yeah, I think David Montgomery, very solid. I think the thing that I really like about him is I think he fits well in the scheme for Houston. I think we love to play. Our defense is so physical. I think our offense could use some of that, like downhill kind of rushing, attacking. Watch his strengths. I mean, that's what they used him for in Detroit, was those, goal line, short yardage stuff. And where are the Texans really terrible? In the red zone, right? So I think this could be a really good fit for him. And I think his numbers are going to look a lot better because then he's not splitting time either with Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit. And I think they're going to use Woody, sure, for maybe some, like, try to get him some what do you call it when they just like run,
change your pace
very far?
Okay.
No, like, like a
big play guy,
like a big play guy.
Yeah.
I think they could use Woody for that stuff, but David Montgomery is going to be one of the, like, just smash the ball in, get the 5-7 yards, move the ball down the field.
Definitely what they were missing last year. I mean, in short yardage situations, it was like, well, Woody Marks needs 2 yards. Oh, Woody Marks got -1 yards.
Yeah.
Or Nick Chubb, either one. Yeah, I mean, I think David Montgomery, the only concern is he's getting a little bit older, but 28's not crazy old. And it's kind of nice he got some rest last year because he got to play a lot less with Gibbs. So
yeah,
obviously he should be way better than
and
what
to
they
be
had
fair,
last
he
year.
turns 29 this week.
Oh, he does?
On the 7th.
I didn't know that.
So.
Wow. He is getting old. So I think he could have one good year. Like this year, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like he could have a really good year this year.
Yeah.
Where it's like 1,200 rushing yard season.
Yeah.
But after that, they got to still keep looking and adding.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. My top guy, I'm in love with him. He's going to be on all my fantasy teams. It's second year running back, Omarion Hampton of the Los Angeles Chargers. I think he's going to be a beast, a monster. And anyone playing in my fantasy leagues, close your ears, including you. Accusing you. Anyways, first round pick for the Chargers last year. He only got to play in 10 games last season because he fractured his ankle in the middle of the season. He fractured it in week 5 and then came back in week 14. And then remember in the beginning of the season, he was playing with Najee Harris. So Najee Harris was stealing a lot of work there from him. But we only got to see that then 2 full games without Najee Harris before he broke his ankle. In those 2 games, he had 129 yards and 169 yards. Yeah. And he had a rushing touchdown in both of those games as well. And all season long, whenever he played, he was utilized in the passing game. So love that. Like he's going to get those receiving yards as well. And he's going to get all the goal line work on this team. And we have to remember last year's offensive line for the Chargers was atrocious. They lost both of their tackles, Rashawn Slater for the full season, who's a star at left tackle. They lost Joe Alt too, who had to move to left tackle to fill in for Slater. And then he got hurt in week 6 and missed the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. So getting both of those guys back, plus they upgraded their interior offensive line by adding some guards, one in the draft early, one in free agency, and then signing a new center in Tyler Biadasz, who's a really solid center as well. I think they might have one of the best offensive lines now. So he gets to play behind a really great offensive line. And then they add Mike McDaniel, who De'Von Achane was a beast under because he got targeted 1,000 times. Now, a lot of that does have to do with Tua, but McDaniel will utilize Amarian Hampton heavily, just like De'Von Achane got utilized. And all of this together, Hampton's going to be a top 5 running back after the season.
Oh, top 5, huh?
Mm-hmm. He's going to be considered one of the best in the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. I didn't say your picks were like bad. I just felt like they were like a little like, well, obvious.
Cherry picking?
Yeah, kind of. That's what you like to do, though.
I didn't pick every young one. I just picked the 2 top ones that I thought would.
Well, we only are doing 2.
Well, I didn't pick Ashton Genty.
Well, that would have been a terrible choice.
Well, I mean, if he's not better than last year, then
listen.
Yeah, I think he'll be better than last year. He should have been a choice probably, but
I did not pick him. Who's staying far, far away?
Who's your second guy that will get better?
So mine, this is going to be kind of a weird pick. I think like you're going to be like, why would you pick him? But I just feel like I saw things that I was like, I think you could actually be much better this year than you were last year, and that's Blake Corum.
Huh?
I know it's a weird choice. I know. But
okay, tell me about it.
Because young backs, they often make their biggest jump between years 2 and 3.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like in really important settings, he was the one out there. Like he was the one. Why are you making that face at me?
Because Kyren Williams is the man. I'm going to talk about him later.
No, he's not. And so I think he could. Here's the thing. It wasn't who's going to be in the top 5. It's who's going to be better and improve. Okay. And so I'm not saying go grab him in your first round of your fantasy football league. I'm just saying I definitely think he's going to improve this year. I think people are going to be like, wait, who is that playing over there? He's obviously I think he's going to play more this year. And then I think he could push for 1,000-yard season.
Whoa.
I know.
How many touchdowns?
Oof, I don't know.
He actually scored a decent amount last year.
Yeah, he was right because I think they were using him as that like 1-2 punch behind Williams. So I'm not saying he's going to be in the top 12 or whatever number, but I really do think he's going to kind of come into his own this year.
So you think Kyren Williams will fall back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he might stay the same, but yeah.
We'll be talking about him later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see where.
I will say the Blake Corum has had trouble staying healthy and he's barely been used. He broke his forearm in the first 1 second he got a chance in his rookie season. Yeah, wow. And then last year, again, he's finally got a shot to get more playing time and hurt his ankle. So we'll see if he can hold up.
Yeah.
All right. My second guy is another running back coming into his second season. And it's Travion Henderson of the New England Patriots. Yeah. And I mean, last year, all of us wanted to see more out of him, right? It's like, oh my God. But a lot of the times, these young guys, they have to play behind the veterans. They have to earn it. And Ramondre Stevenson is a solid running back. He's not amazing. He's not great. He's solid. And those guys are still hard to beat because they've been in the league and they do things correctly and coaches can trust them. That's a big part, right?
Yeah.
So Henderson last year only got to play 46% of offensive snaps. However, even though he had that low of snaps, he still led the Patriots in carries and rushing yards. He had 911 rushing yards. He averaged over 5 yards per carry, highly efficient, and had 9 rushing touchdowns, even though Henderson led the team in goal line carries. A lot of that came down to big plays. Obviously, he's not going to break off a 50-yard run every game.
Right.
But he is a big play guy. He's fantastic. When he got the touches last year, he was so good. He had 6 games with 15-plus scrimmage touchdowns last year, averaged 109 yards per game in those games, 7 touchdowns.
6 games with 15 touches.
Yeah, at least 15 touches.
Cool.
Yeah. He had 9 games with at least 12 touches, and he averaged 93 yards per game in those games and had 9 of his 10 touchdowns in the season come in those 9 games.
Wow.
So when he got utilized and the team trusted him or had to because Stevenson was out a couple of those games, he showed everything we need out of him, right? He showed he could put up huge numbers. And the big issue, though, when it came to later in the year, games were getting more important, playoff games specifically, he barely got to play because his pass protection was not good. And when the team can't trust you to pass protect, they're going to put in the guy that can, even though you might be the much better player all around outside of that. And what's weird, though, Henderson coming out of school was considered like he's an amazing pass protector. Like he's coming out, he's one of the best pass protectors, like a prospect in so long at running back. So it makes no sense he was so bad. So I really have to believe he's focusing in on that this year, working on it. And we know he's capable of it. Yes, at a lower level, but I think he can get there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like as a rookie, he came in and was like, I have to produce offensively. And so, I mean, I know he was still on the offense, but when you're pass protecting, you're kind of defending, right?
Yeah.
So I bet he just like honed in on the one and not the other. And so that'll be a focus of his for this year. But yeah, I loved him, had him in fantasy last year, and it really worked out for a few of those games where he had those breakouts.
So I think as long as he gets better at the pass protection, Ramondre Stevenson is just a guy at the end of the day. And Henderson can be special. So I think in year 2, you can get way more work. And yeah, obviously, like I said, those 60-yard runs are not going to come at the same pace as they were coming last year, but he can be really, really good and really special.
Yeah. So I think that's a good pick.
Thank you.
I think it was a gimme, but I think it was a good pick.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're just mad that I put his name in our show notes before you because you would have wanted him.
Okay.
I told you could have him. All right. Running backs that will get worse from last year. I love my 2. I really feel good about them.
I mean, I feel good about mine too. I mean, I feel sad about one, but I feel like it's right.
Well,
and that is Christian McCaffrey. I know.
You just are hating my 49ers.
But I know, not on purpose. It's not my fault they didn't get Myles Garrett. I just think this man has to be exhausted. He carried that offense on his back, not only rushing, but receiving last year. He was a monster offensively. 8th overall. I think he had over 1,200 yards last year rushing. But he also caught 103 passes last year for 900 yards. He was a better receiver than most receivers last year. Okay. This man is exhausted. I hope this entire offseason, all he's done is laid by a beach because that's what he deserves. The problem is, I think he's going to be so exhausted that he's less productive this year, especially in his true rushing position. I think Brock's got to throw the ball more this year. Now they have Mike Evans, right? They have some other better weapons offensively. So I think, even though I think Christian McCaffrey is wonderful and he's going to be wonderful, I think he does actually regress this year when it comes to stats. I think he's still going to be as dominant. He's going to open up the field for the 49ers. But I think as far as like numbers go, he will decrease.
And his rushing efficiency last year was really bad.
Bad.
Yeah, it was bad. And he's only getting older. So and their line, they did not fix whatsoever. It's infuriating. So yeah, I don't expect his rushing to get any better. And you are really right on the receiving because last year, I mean, there was games where it was like, well, we have Kendrick Bourne and Demarcus Robinson. So yeah, we're going to pass to Christian McCaffrey 10 times, because that's what we have. And now, well, they can never stay healthy. But if Ricky Pearsall and Mike Evans and Christian Kirk can be out there and George Kittle gets back, they're not going to need to pass the ball to Christian McCaffrey 10 times, which is personally not a great, it's not a great thing to have to utilize your running back that much in the passing game.
Right.
Because a great running back averages 10 yards per reception. A great wide receiver can average 15 plus,
Right.
So I'm with you. It's sad, but I agree. He should regress. My guy is also one that catches a ton of balls, and it's De'Von Achane. And unfortunately, he's stuck on a really bad team right now. But monster season last year, he totaled 1,838 total yards and 12 touchdowns. He had a lot of rushing yards and receiving yards, and he may have led the team in receptions last year. I don't have that, but I would not be surprised. I think this Dolphins offense is going to be atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
They have no wide receivers. They signed Malik Willis, who is not proven whatsoever. They don't have a tight end. Like, they don't have anything. They have De'Von Achane, which would make you seem like, well, they have to utilize him nonstop. So he should be just as good or even better. No. Like, when your team is this bad, it's really hard to be a good running back. Look at the bottom 5 offenses last year. It was the Raiders, the Browns, the Titans, the Jets, and the Saints. All of those running backs, atrocious. I mean, Breece Hall had his games, had his moments, but
okay.
What were you going to say?
I need you to read the list one more time.
Raiders, Browns, Titans, Jets, Saints.
I'd say the Browns, Judkins was actually
for like
decent.
2 games.
Okay, fine.
He did okay for like 2 games to start the year.
Okay, whatever.
So overall,
how dare I have an opinion?
No, overall, their running backs did not have good production, right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't think Achane's going to be terrible. I just think his numbers are going to drop down by probably 500 total yards and a handful of touchdowns,
which is significant.
It's like, even so, if he ends up with 1,300 yards, that's not a bad.
But it's worse for him.
Yeah, it's terrible for him. And if you're playing fantasy, if you have to take him that high, you're not going to be happy. Mm-hmm. But now there's no downfield threat. So defenses are definitely, and you have Malik Willis as your quarterback. Teams are just going to play out towards that line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. So he's going to have trouble running. He's already a smaller back at that. Last year, he only had 5 goal line carries. And he still got rushing touchdowns because he can break them off and score receiving touchdowns as well. But he only had 5 goal line carries. He actually didn't even lead the team goal line carries. It was Ali Gordon, their rookie, who's much bigger. So I expect them to continue to give him more. Do you know who had the same amount of goal line carries as Achane last year? Ty Johnson, Tank Bigsby. Yeah. So that's, you can't count on him to have goal line carries. And then so much of him, greatness, has been the receptions that he gets hyper targeted, but he gets hyper targeted from Tua. Last year, in the 2 games that Achane played without Tua, he saw just 3 targets apiece. He's averaged over 6 targets per game with Tua. In 2024, he was averaging over 6 targets per game that season, but he had just 2 targets per game when it was Tyler Huntley or Skylar Thompson and Tua was out. So it's been only Tua that's been targeting him like crazy. And the thing about rushing quarterbacks, a mobile quarterback like Malik Willis, when they're in trouble, they don't check it down to the running back. They take off with their own legs.
Right.
So Malik Willis is not going to check it down like Tua does. He's going to take off and run. You're going to see way fewer receptions from Achane this year. Mm-hmm. And I just think his efficiency as a rusher is going to go down because the team's so bad.
Right. Yeah.
All of that to say, I think he's going to be very disappointing this year.
I think it's going to be surprising for people that like don't think about all of those factors, and you just go and look at like who was great last year, and then you just go based on
and be like, well, he's going to get 1 million touches because
he's so good and there's no one else on the team.
Yeah.
But to your point, I agree with you. I think they're going to need a lot more of literally everything. But
like Ashton Genty last year had 1 million touches, but his team stunk.
And he couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, agreed.
So he could have an Ashton Genty type of year.
Unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. I feel like I talked you into it.
No, I agreed with this one.
Oh, okay. Good.
I agreed with it.
Okay. Yeah. Next pick.
I'm going with one Jonathan Taylor.
He was definitely in consideration for me.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about last time he had a big workload, it was a few years ago. He fell way off the next season. Okay. So it's like he kind of had like his like big season hangover, if you will. Started 2025 strong, 15 touchdowns in the first like half of the season. And then literally the second half of the season, he was averaging 3 yards per carry. It was just like, who is this guy? And what has he done to be so terrible? Like, again, if you had him in fantasy the first half of the year, you're like, this guy is awesome.
You're winning games.
And winning games. Yeah. And then when it really matters and you start playing people again in fantasy, you start losing because Jonathan Taylor, who was getting you a bunch of points, is now getting you like 4. And you're like, what is happening? I think that trajectory is just going to continue. I think the second half of last year was a foreshadowing for what's to come for him this year. Unfortunately, I think he takes a huge step back. And I would stay away from Jonathan Taylor in any early rounds of fantasy. I think the Colts are so up in the air right now because we don't know what Daniel Jones is going to come back as. Their defense and offense, they just fell off the second half of the season. I would stay far away from him.
Yeah. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to put up numbers because of volume, right? But it's not going to be what he did last year when he was dominating. I think he had 20 total touchdowns. Like overall, I just think the Colts offense is going to regress heavily. So, yeah. My next one is Derrick Henry. And although I think the Ravens offense is going to be much better than it was last year, I don't think Derrick Henry is going to. So he's 32 years old. He'll be closer to 33 than 32 when the season starts. Last year, the only two running backs at 32 years old or older to have a single carry in the NFL were Raheem Mostert and Amir Abdullah. They had 22 and 14 carries. Henry, over the last 2 years with the Ravens and obviously all the times with the Titans, he consistently sees over 300 rushing attempts. Like the last 2 years with the Ravens, it's been 325 and 307. He's going to have to pretty much say, screw history. I'm totally different than everyone else, which he totally could do. I mean, Derrick Henry's a beast, but looking back over a long period of time, the last 32-year-old running back or older to even have 270 rushing attempts in a season was Otis Anderson in 1989.
Whoa.
It's been a really long time before we were born.
Yeah.
Looking back over the last 20 seasons, only 3 running backs had even 1,000 rushing yards in a season that they were 32 years old or older. That was Adrian Peterson in 2018, Frank Gore in 2016, and Ricky Williams in 2009. Ricky Williams had the most out of that group at 1,100 rushing yards. And Henry last year was at 1,600 rushing yards.
Well, and not only that, I mean, we saw Derrick Henry, the king, if you will, like he was dropping balls and I was like, who is this guy? Fumbling, bumbling, stumbling over out there. Like you could see the regression, even though his numbers were still very high, you can see the toll that playing at that level for so long is starting to take. And it's only a matter of time before he looks human again. And I think we're at that time.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers did already drop from year 1 to year 2 with the Ravens. He had 300 fewer rushing yards in 2025 compared to 2024, about 400 fewer scrimmage yards. His yards per touch dropped from 6.1 to 5.4. He led the league in rushing first downs in 2024 at 106 amount of carries that led to first downs. That dropped down to 79 last year, and his rushing attempts didn't drop down that much. So it's just the efficiency dropped down. I think Derrick Henry might be towards the end of his career, and he could still get his 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns, right? He's been dominating touchdowns. But I do think we're going to start to see him.
Well, that's when you start talking about these like tiers of players, right? Because for Derrick Henry to have a bad year, we're comparing him to some of these guys who would kill for that kind of year, right? And so I think that's where it could get, it could sound silly to people of like, how are you talking about Blake Corum and Derrick Henry in the same conversation? But it's about what kind of tier player these people are. And so Derrick Henry,
we're comparing him to his 1,616 touchdowns.
We're comparing him to himself, which is elite, right? We would compare him to Saquon Barkley a couple years ago, right? And so to your point, he will get worse based on Derrick Henry.
Yes. But still be a fine starting running back. It's just, for what we're used to with Derrick Henry, it's going to seem like, oh no, he's going down. And I want Derrick Henry to be in the league forever. It's going to be so sad when he's gone.
I love him. He was my first ever pick in fantasy football. Fun fact for you.
And he's so good.
Yeah.
All right.
Wasn't it a good pick?
Yeah, that's a great pick. Depending on the year, but I'm good. I'm sure it was great. One running back that's going to say the same to finish out this little exercise.
Yeah. So I went with Bijan Robinson. Again,
you're talking about easy picks here.
Listen, I had to pick at least one easy one. Since you picked all the rest. Listen, you talked about it earlier. Tua loves to throw to a running back. And so Bijan, get ready, buddy, because you're about to get a lot of balls thrown your way. Okay. With Tua there. This guy, even though he had a monster year last year, Tua is going to keep him right there where he was and needs to be. He's still going to get wild yards. But I think he needs to get more touchdowns, right? Because a lot of the time they'd get down in the red zone and then Tyler Algier would go and steal his touchdown, right?
Infuriating.
Infuriating if you're him and anybody with him in fantasy. But so I think he probably gets more touchdowns this year, but I could see his yards being the same, if not a little less. So I really do think he's going to stay consistent. Elite, don't get me wrong, but I do think Bijan has a very consistent year with last year this year.
Well, let me ask, are you taking Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs with the first pick in fantasy if you had the 101?
I would take Bijan. I just feel more confident in Bijan.
Okay. My running back that's going to stay the same. It's going to be Kyren Williams. So I disagree on your Blake Corum getting better. I mean, he can definitely see the field a little bit more, but I still think it's going to be the Kyren Williams show. Kyren Williams is still only 25 years old. Mm-hmm. It's not like he's an aging guy that's like, oh, we need to get the young guy in. They don't. And now, yeah, he does turn 26 in August, but still, that's your prime for a running back. Kyren Williams last year, 1,533 yards, 13 touchdowns. He has had at least 1,350 yards and 13 touchdowns at least in 3 straight seasons. And yeah, his touches went down last year, yet he still had a career year in yardage because it's not a bad thing to have some rest. Like He was getting utilized at an insane rate the 2 years prior. They had nobody else. He was seeing the field, touching the ball. It was so much more than other running backs percentage wise. Like that's not a way to stay healthy. So yes, you got to bring in a second guy to give him some rest. And it really worked out. I mean, last year he averaged a full yard per touch more than the year prior when he was getting so many touches. So yeah, his touches come down a little bit. His playing down comes down a little bit, but I think that's only a good thing for him to stay fresh, stay healthy. Over the last few years, he's had the 5th most goal line carries. Corum did get involved a little bit in that area last year, but there's going to be a ton of touchdowns to go around.
Yeah.
And that offense can be fine. And I also think there's going to be more rushing attempts to go around in that offense because now they have Myles Garrett. That defense should be even better, really good, top 5 maybe even, which is going to allow Stafford to pass less, them to run more. So maybe that's where Blake Corum comes in and can get better.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But the one thing Corum has not done yet in the NFL is receiving. He had 14 total receptions last year. While Kyren Williams had 14 total targets last year.
I was like, that doesn't sound right, but I'm not going to question you.
14 total targets
makes a lot more sense.
And then Kyren Williams had 50 targets last year. So he's still going to be the receiving guy as well. Kyren Williams is just the most underrated running back, I think, in the league every year.
I agree with that. I think we're so used to it being Henry and Barkley and these kind of guys that I think folks like Kyren Williams, even, I mean, I'm going to say it, Chase Brown, like I feel like there's some kind of emerging guys that are kind of taking over and they're still not getting the credit that they're due.
All right. That is it for our better, worse, stay the same for running backs, but we still have one more thing to get to in our 2-minute warning. Which team has the worst backfield entering 2026?
2-minute warning.
All right, Nycole, who has the worst backfield among all NFL teams right now?
Okay. I think this is a really obvious one. So I guess I'm ending on a couple obvious choices here, but I think it's the Jaguars. I feel like they have not even tried. They were like, bye, Travis Etienne. I hope you have a nice life. And literally haven't done anything for their backfield. So then you say, okay, I guess I can never say his first name.
Bashal
Tuten. I don't want to say that. Tuten. They're like, okay, you're now the guy. You're the RB1. The man had 307 yards last year. And like, that's not awesome. And even if you double it, it's 600 yards. That's not awesome for your main running back.
Her math is bad, but it's okay.
Say what?
I said your math is bad, but it's okay. We get the point.
I said 300 and 600. Did I not?
You said 370.
307.
Oh, okay.
So your listening is bad. So 307 versus 614. Is that better?
Okay.
That's not very good. And so I think that's the easiest choice here is the Jaguars. I just don't. It's like they're waiting on something to happen, and I'm not sure what.
Yeah, just like, I mean, Bashal Tootin looked okay when he spelled Travis Etienne last year. He had some good playing time, but he's a fourth rounder from last year. He's a complete unknown. I mean, I guess they got to see him more than we have, so they're trusting him. But
Sure,
it does seem like a wild choice because they're a team that's trying to push to be a Super Bowl contender. And I mean, their whole offseason has been confusing to me, honestly.
It just feels like you were on an up ramp, and it's like
you took the slide down.
It's like chutes and ladders out here. You hit the hit the chute. You know?
Yeah. Well, mine is going to be your Commanders. I'm sorry, but they have a very bad running back group. They just didn't try to fix it this year. I mean, their big move this season was to sign Rachaad White.
Yeah.
Which, okay, receiving wise, he's a pretty good receiver, but in terms of running, very inefficient runner. He always was with the Buccaneers. So you're not getting efficiency from him. Like, that's just not, he's not a great rusher. You have JCM, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, or Bill, whatever you want to call him, their seventh rounder from last year. We were all so excited for him.
So excited.
He didn't look great.
Didn't look great.
No, he didn't. So maybe he takes a huge leap forward, but
hope he does.
I mean, right now he's penciled in as the starter with Rachaad White coming in, change of pace, receiving back. They drafted a running back, Katron Allen, in the 6th round, but this is not, they needed to do a bit more there to help out because they didn't help out Jaden Daniels with receivers, and they also didn't help him out with the running game.
Yeah.
I will not be surprised at all if Jaden Daniels leads his team in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns this year.
That's not a bad thought. I think you're probably right on that. I mean, they did take strides on the lines, which I appreciated, but to your point, I think they didn't add a ton of weapons in the backfield or to receivers. So, yeah. I mean, granted, Terry McLaurin should be good to go, and all of that, but as you know, one receiver is not it.
No, so. I mean, it's going to have to be Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin carrying the entire offense.
Right.
Not great.
No.
All right. That is it for today's episode. We will be back next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but I like to figure out things last minute.
It'll be a mystery to us all.
Everyone have a great weekend. Go Spurs. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Analyst in the Armchair. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on socials, leave us a review, and comment to let us know what you'd like to hear next time.